Hello, yes, hi, and welcome to the Dark Knight Conspiracies, episode 79. 2-minute warning. First and goal on the 30. Now, it's been another fun week, hasn't it, folks? So, without further ado, let's get into tomorrow's news today. Appeals court allows Biden private business, you know what, to take effect. Getting to the Supreme Court. So now OSHA is back in power again. And here's what I see happening with this. Businesses aren't going to put up with this. I think people have had enough. These people are panicking. They're desperate. And I'll get into this later into the show, but here's what I think is happening. This is all biblical. They're trying to speed up the timeline of Revelation. And God's not going to have any part of that. And he's going to shut this thing down. And we're starting to see it shut down, but let me just tell you from a personal note, despite what everybody's putting out there, I can personally tell you within the past 3 months, 2 of my family members have been hospitalized. So far, everything's fine. We'll see where this goes. So I'm just putting it out there, all these people, and look, I was one to say this is all a charade. There's something happening. The problem is we're not being told the truth. So we don't know what people are being hit with. And I'll leave it at that. So, I asked for prayers for my family members. But this shit's getting out of hand. They're calling for a dark winter. Here's my question to Sleepy Joe. If all these people are going to die because they didn't get the jabs. Everybody cliff high. A lot of people are saying there's going to be this third seal of Revelation, dark horse. There's going to be a massive die. Here's my point to everybody. Use common sense. Use logic. Why are they so concerned if the unvaccinated are such a threat and they're going to die from this? What do they care? Why not just let us die? Get the picture here? And we're starting to see the panic. And again, like I said, I think they're speeding things up. New emails came out exposing Fauci and Collins' collusion to smear anti-lockdown scientists. So they're going after the doctors that are trying to get out the truth. Well, here's what I can tell you. The Bible tells us all about truth, and all you need is 2 witnesses to expose the truth. Truth eviscerates fraud. Light cancels out dark. And we're getting ready for a winter solstice, December 21st, the end of fall. And there's a possibility we may see some things happen at a very rapid pace. But here's Here's my gut feeling, and I can't back this up with anything. And my gut directs me on a lot of stuff, and your first reaction is always the right reaction. That was the way I was brought up and taught. Something's coming on a massive scale. Can't say if it's good. I can't say if it's bad. Something's coming. And you all better need to be prepared. I can't put my finger on it. I have this feeling. And we're starting to see, again, the 17 board, talked about pay attention to people, CEOs stepping down, people not rerunning for re-election. And it also told us we're going to start seeing people say, well, I got COVID, so I got to isolate. And again, that's in that community, that's code word for you're not going to hear from them again. Because they made their bed and they slept in it. And I do believe this whole thing, I've said this on many episodes, we don't know at what point it was, but there was a point where we had to choose sides. And when I say choose sides, I'm talking about good versus evil. Because we're starting to see evil panic. So this came out today. Oh, Pocahontas. Woo-woo. Test positive for COVID. I think this is the last time we're going to see her. Just my opinion. She's going to disappear into the dark. And for everybody out there, all these shows and all these people saying, oh, everything was a distraction from the Maxwell trial. No, you don't. You need to pay attention to the Maxwell. No, you don't need to pay attention to the Maxwell trial. You know why? She's not testifying. And on Monday, closing arguments. I'm sorry. Where are the bombshells? Did anybody see a bombshell? I didn't see a bombshell. What names got disclosed? I don't know. Prince Andrew? I don't know. That's been out there since day one. That's not a bombshell. We've seen some pictures and stuff. So where are all the bombshells? Again, a distraction, folks. Everything is a distraction. I keep going to this. And, I commented about how it's funny how all the social media people I listen to, and again, I gotta agree with LT here from And We Know. If you're not familiar with his channel, this is the time to not get caught up in all this finger pointing. Everybody's pointing fingers at everybody else. These people, prophetic, they're blasphemers, they're involved with, cults and everything else. And look, like they say, do your own research, but here's what I'm getting out of this. My opinion. The Bible tells us to pray and cast confusion into the enemy's camp. This is what I believe is going on right now. That Satan has no idea. He's getting hit in so many different ways. Has no idea what the Lord has planned for him. And believe me, I believe vengeance is coming, and I have no idea what it looks like, how it's going to take place. It could be imminent. It could be 3 years down the road. The Lord tells us no one will know the time or the day or the hour. Never says anything about the year, but you get the idea. Everybody's confused right now, and I think this is all part of the plan. And my take on all this, when the truth does come out, I have a feeling people are going to have a hard time distinguishing what's the truth, because right now everything with all the finger pointing and everybody going after each other and this and that, who knows? You know, LT addressed one of the few people, and this is why I find this interesting, one of the few people that addressed the Linwood Michael Flynn battle that's going on. And I'm in agreement with him. It's confusing. This stuff is so complicated. We have no idea. I'll equate it to, they call it 5D chess, but I'll equate it to Star Trek with Spock with 3D chess. This stuff is so complicated. You're playing multiple boards at the same time. Who knows what the real objective is, but he made a good point. And he pointed out whether Linwood did this knowingly or unknowingly, and regardless of where General Flynn could be in all this, what this did was create exposure about the people around him, because now people are starting to research all these people that go to these events. And again, another rabbit hole. I mean, this stuff goes deep. You know, you got certain people on Mac Files calling a lot of these prophetic people out. My opinion is, I take it to prayer to the Lord, and if He shows me who's good and who's bad, I'm good with it. Other than that, I'm staying out of it. I'm not taking sides. It's no different than, even if these people were bad, it's no different than what I used to say about, you know, watching Communist News Network or MSNBC. You still gotta go see what the enemy is saying to understand the battlefield you're on. So I know I've been one to criticize the Orange Man, and quite frankly, I think I have every right to. I think there are some things that haven't been answered, but I'm starting to get back in the camp where, you know what, I'm going to give him some slack. Let's see where this plays out. So this came out at his conference in Dallas, and Trump says the country needs a savior right now. And our country has a savior, and it's not me, it's someone much higher. Now, if you play devil's advocate, what side is he talking about? You see where I go with this? This is all the confusion they've caused. And quite frankly, they're to blame for this. And for those of you that didn't follow UFO, ufology, and everything from Roswell and this and that, I'm just going to bring up a name. Secretary of Defense Forrestal. I believe he was the first Secretary of Defense and was hospitalized for a mental health condition, as they say. But he was part of the Majestic 13 group that Stanton Friedman reported on. And you can look all this stuff up. And supposedly he jumped out his hospital window. Could be true. I don't know. Can't vet it. But there is a Roswell movie where they portray him. And as he's sitting, and this is why I find this interesting, as he's sitting around the table with, and this group was composed of military leaders, theologians, philosophical people, economists, and they all felt it was detrimental to go public with what happened. And Forrestal was a person who believed that the American people had a right to know. And I've said this in prior videos. I get it. I get the post. I don't think people realize if and when a lot of stuff comes out, I don't think a lot of people can handle it. I don't think a lot of people are ready for it. But there is a faction of us that have known and are ready for this for a long time. The question is, what's the percentage? Because I have no idea. But this has been my pet peeve with all this, because you got both sides creating deception. Both sides are withholding information. They know the truth. Obviously, they can handle the truth. Why can't we? What? You see where I'm going with this? They're putting themselves up on a pedestal that, oh, no, you can't handle this. You can't handle the truth. You're not going to know until you try it. That's my only pet peeve about the whole thing. At some point, you got to come clean. And again, I've never strayed. This is God's plan. And if this is the way it's playing out, I'm not going to question it, but I guess I am questioning it. But I'm not questioning God. I'm questioning the people in power right now. God has his reasons. And quite frankly, regardless of the outcome, they're going to be valid reasons. I used to say this: if you think on Judgment Day you're going to go before the Lord and plead your case, forget about it. He already knows everything. He already knows what's in your heart. He already knows what's in your mind. You are not going to change his mind. That's just my theory on all that. So I'm going to go to this and I'm going to play this clip. And I think this is interesting because we're going to get into all the, everybody's out there, everything's fake. It's all CGI. It's all body doubles. The deep state has a Biden and the Trump has a Biden. You get the picture, right? Here's what I think is interesting, and I want you to listen to this clip.
Now we look at 2022. I want to tell my Republican friends, get ready, pal. You're going in for a problem. And we need to stay unified.
So let's put this into context. And this is why I think this is the Trump Biden. What has Trump been doing since he's been out of office? He's been bashing the Republicans. And a lot of people can sit there and say, well, it's Baal, it's Baal, it's this. The bottom line is, there's no mistake. You can read his lips. He's not saying pal, he's saying Baal. He's calling out an associate of Satan. Now, why does he say, to all my friends in the Republican Party? Get where I'm going with this? I think this is Trump's Biden. I think this was a warning to the Republicans. I think this was God's way of telling them, your window is closing. You better choose what you're going to do. And what you're going to do quickly, because the window is closing. To sit there and say you got a problem coming. Now some would say, okay, let's flip that the other way. Is he threatening us? Is he telling us, the American people, we're going to have a problem coming? Well, I don't know, but, you could take, this is the confusing thing about all this. You can take all these comments, all these articles, and you could play both sides of the fence with them. I can make an argument for the one side, and I can make an argument for the other side. And I just want to bring up real quickly, isn't it funny how, they're trying to cancel Christmas now, and you got the NFL, the NHL, and the NBA, they're all canceling games now. Well, correct me if I'm wrong. Aren't all these people jabbed? So why are you canceling games? These people are supposed to be, they got nothing to worry about. They're on the field. They're on the floor. They're on the ice. They're not playing with unjabbed people. Why is there concern all of a sudden? Again, this is all conditioning, folks. They're trying to get you ready for the ultimate end goal, which is the mark. Now, I want to leave with this last bit of information, which I thought was interesting, not amusing. I'm a big fan of Greg Hunter. I think he does a good job, even though he's a former CNN employee, but he got out back in the day when he realized things were going downhill. So I cut him some slack. Well, a lot of people are trashing Bo Pony, as I call him, Bo Phony. Well, he had him on his show this weekend. And Bo Phony talks a good game. He's got a lot of analytical data that backs up a lot of stuff he says. And on a previous shows, he predicted all this stuff for November, and credit to Greg Hunter, he called him out on it. But then he explained it. And then he explained about how this whole Revelation timeline could be screwed up because they tried to usher in the Antichrist well before it was supposed to be, and that's why God's going to come in and set things straight. We'll have to wait and see. I can buy into it. But he brought up an interesting thing. And he talked about when the Pilgrims landed in America. And contrary to the claims, it wasn't Plymouth Rock. It was somewhere else. But it was November 11th, 11/11. From what my research has shown. Again, biblical number. And the year was 1621. Well, we just got done with November and we're in December of 2021. So do some subtraction. What do you get? 400 years. Why is that number familiar? Does that resonate with anybody? It just so happens, how long were the Hebrews enslaved in Egypt before they got let go? And what also happened when Pharaoh let them go? He let them take all the gold, all the jewels. He let them take all the wealth. We are in a Shemitah year. And for those of you that don't know what that's about, do your research. I suggest you go look up Jonathan Cahn. He'll explain it all to you. But it's all based on the number 7 and 50. So I thought it was interesting that he brought that up. And that's why, we'll see. He went out on a limb. He said, well, something's going to happen by the end of the year or by early January 22. We'll see what happens. All I know is this is God's timeline. We're not to question him because he knows what he's doing. And I'll agree with that. I do question things, and it might sound hypocritical, but there's nothing wrong with asking God questions, right? He's not going to get mad at you for that. But this all boils down to one word, in my opinion, or 2 words actually: truth and faith. Because I think both those things are being tested right now. More so faith than anything else. So with that, I'll leave end the show. We're at the 2-minute warning. First and goal on the 30. I have a feeling there's going to be a touchdown. Let's see what happens. As always, stay safe, stay strong, stay vigilant, be prepared, keep your faith. And until next time, same bat time, same bat channel. Zebra 3, take us home.